the first part of the game from my teacher. He taught me Pygame and a part of this game. Then after I learned it, I decided to make this game better by adding levels, other enemies, etc. This game has 3 levels, each harder than the previous one. It has a different looping background based on the level that the player is on. The player, which is the blue plane on the left, moves by arrow keys. Press spacebar to shoot bullets. The yellow plane is an enemy that spawns randomly from the top that goes down. The blue plane spawns randomly from the top and goes from side to side. And the red plane spawns from the top but will constantly follow the player until it is out of the map. Here's how to play. You use arrow keys to move the player. You use spacebar to shoot the bullets. You avoid enemy bullets and planes and try to hit them with your own bullets. If 10 enemies go past the bottom of the screen, it's game over. You try to get the highest score. This is what my game looks like. Each picture is for a different level. As you see, level 1 has a green background, level 2 has a yellow background, and level 3 has a red background. And here's the demo. This is what the game looks like right here. As you see, it says a level 1, and I'm pressing spacebar to shoot the bullets. And I'm moving side to side to avoid the enemy bullets. And when I get to 15 points, I'm going to move on to the next level. There's a transition there. And then this game is really hard. So I can't get to level 3 without making myself invincible. And then once you get to level 3, it's very hard. I imported Pygame at random and imported the keys to press. Some of the resources are here for the bomb when the player gets destroyed or when the enemy gets destroyed. And the backgrounds, different backgrounds is over here. Set color keys is over here. The class player, it makes the player movable from the update over here. The code over here keeps the player on the screen, so if I go out of the side, it's gonna push me back. The class enemy, this one is a yellow. This one is a yellow plane, and the code right here that it spawns randomly from the top, from any point from side to side. And the update here, just make sure that if it gets to the end, the bottom of the screen, it kills it. Enemy 2 is the blue plane. This makes sure that it spawns randomly. And then the speed, X, and Y. The Y doesn't change, but the X will be set random every time it touches the side of the wall, right here. And this also makes sure that it doesn't leave or like get out of the wall or get out of the screen. This is the red enemy. Over here, I've imported the player's X coordinate to make sure that it always follows the player. Right here, make sure that it spawns right above the player from the top and going down. Over here, makes it stay on the screen like the player. And this makes it follow the player. The class background makes the background loop and changes it every time I get to a new level. The bullet, this is the hero bullet, the ones that I shoot. And it makes sure that it spawns from the player right in front of it and going up. The class explosion is an explosion occurs when a bullet collides with the enemy or an enemy collides with the player. And then there will be an explosion there. The enemy bullet is the same thing as a hero bullet, except just going down and starting from the enemy. Level number is what you see at the start of the game. It says level. Game over will be there if I die, or if 10 enemies go through the end of the screen. All the timers are here. It just sets how fast they spawn. As like you see here, the bullet, it spawns every 0.7 seconds. And the yellow enemy spawns every second. The blue enemy spawns every 1.4 seconds. And the red enemy, since it's the hardest, it spawns every 1.5 seconds. Over here is the sound control. I turned off all the sound because it's very loud. Over here is for the background. Make sure that it loops. And then all of this over here just makes the groups and makes the player and enemies and stuff. Variables are above here. And this makes sure that the code starts, like the game starts running. And then if the player dies, it's going to set to false. And the game will stop running. And so while the game is going, all of these over here is for the levels. So I make sure that I have at least 15 points and my level is on 1 to go to the next level. Level 2 basically. This over here, make sure that I have at least 40 points and I'm on level 2 to go to level 3. This, all of that over here is for the time. Like every time my space key gets pressed and I'm not in the transition, it's gonna shoot out a bullet where my player is. The add enemy, make sure that every second it adds the yellow enemy. Same goes for these, except over here it makes sure that I'm at least on level 2 and not on level 1, since blue enemies only spawn from level 2 and above, and red enemy spawns only from level 3. And over here is the same thing as the hero bullet except for the enemy. All of these are to update all of the sprites, update the enemy to make sure that it goes down and stuff. The text are all over here. Like if I start the game, you're gonna see text right here, and that's the level number. And then if I die, you could see an explosion occur wherever I die. Over here is for the transition. So if I go on to the next level, it's going to change the background and kill everything except for the player so it doesn't get messed up. Down here is make sure that at least 10 or less enemies escape. If 10 or more enemies escaped, you lose the game and the player is gonna die. All of the code down here, going all the way down, is for the collisions. So like if a hero bullet collides with a enemy, it's gonna occur. If a hero collides with an enemy plane, it's gonna occur. If an hero bullet collides with an enemy, or if an enemy bullet collides with a hero and stuff. To make yourself invincible, you comment out these two. So it just takes away the collision between the enemy plane and the hero, and the enemy bullets and the hero. So if I start the game, since I'm kind of invincible right now, I'll try to get to level 3 to show you guys what it looks like. That's the transition there. And then if I let this blue enemy escape, it's gonna show up as 1 up top. Escape 1. And then when I get to 40 points, this is level 3. As you see, the red plane follows me. And then I can just try and survive here. Then you see the blue plane goes from side to side and the red plane follows me. Some challenges that I faced making this. The hardest challenge was the looping background I made. since there was always like one pixel that's off or it just doesn't work. The next hardest thing was making an explosion animation when the plane gets hit, since over here, if I open this like this, you see this bomb 1, bomb 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's going to bomb 1, and then after a few seconds, it changes the picture to bomb 2, and then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The third hardest thing was making the levels, since it was a lot of things to add. I plan on making this game better by adding more levels, like a level 4 or 5, and adding a boss to it. I plan on making maybe level 2 and level 3 easier, so it's possible to pass without making yourself invincible. I plan on adding some missiles that spawn randomly. They might be good missiles for the hero or for the enemy. And I might add some tiny helper planes by the player's side to help the player progress. And here's the contact information.
I just noticed that this game is like Estrados.
Like what?
Hi, David, can you repeat that question?
I noticed that this game is really similar to something that I've heard of online.
I did not know the game, but this game, I know that it's similar to something like a 1945 classic arcade game.
Yeah, this should be the reason why you name your game as a similar number, right? It's
Yeah.
just, yeah. That's a good name. Nice idea. Yeah. If there's anyone have another question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. I think Spencer is ready to answer all of your questions. All right. I have one question. How long have you learned Python, and how long that takes you to make this game?
I have Python for around 1.5 years to 2 years, and it took me like a month to make this game, since some of the stuff took a while.
That is amazing, right? Yeah. Since you have learned Python for more than 2 years, then how do you like Python? Is it a good language, or is there another language you just want to learn?
It's a very interesting language. It's good for like problems, or like some problems that you get in competitions. But then Pygame is the one that's good for game development.
Yes, because in Python you can also solve the algorithm questions with Python. Some of our students, they got a really good ranking with Python. Also, in the future, maybe you will know how to do the machine learning, the AI algorithm with also with Python. So Python is normally a good languages. Normally we do Pygame for the for game developer. Our game developer should be familiar with Python. Yeah. My suggestion is that guys, if you have some interest in, if you're interested in learning language, I think Python is always a good choice to start, a good choice to build everything from scratch. All right. Is there any other questions?
Yes, every color plane will shoot 2 bullets every 0.7 seconds. I plan on making the bullets shoot at different times. So they don't shoot at the exact same time.
Oh, okay. That's a nice idea. Hmm. All right. One more question. Where do you get the airplane photo from?
Some of them I got them online, and some I got them from a teacher that taught me the first part, and then I decided to make this game better.
All right. How many levels do you still want to do for?
Since I have 5 different backgrounds I can loop, I plan on making maybe 5.
Yeah, since the third level is already difficult, right? People may not be able to pass that one at the very beginning. The I can imagine that the fifth level should be pretty much difficult. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Anything related to game development, anything related to Python, anything related to learn coding? Sponsor is ready to respond and answer. All right, looks like there's no more questions. Then let's thank you, sponsor, for his demo. He has a really nice Python project. For the next conference, let's just meet together in the next Friday.